All right, well, welcome everybody. I want to welcome everyone who's joining us live and those of you who are watching the recording. We're glad you could all join us, and hopefully you're going to learn a little bit about Holland America and their wonderful experience in Alaska. We are Suzanne and Steve Clausen, and we are owners of our own CruiseOne franchise in Show Low, Arizona. So quickly, to give you a little bit of the agenda for tonight, we're going to have a quick introduction of our agency, and then Amanda, who is with Holland America, and I are going to kind of share the Alaska experience with Holland America. We really feel like it's your best cruise line for just so many different ways to experience Alaska. And then Amanda, Steve, and I are also going to share with you our experience on board and what you can expect when you're not being just totally blown away by the beautiful scenery in Alaska. What's your onboard experience going to be like? And then I'm also going to share some examples of our CruiseOne exclusive discounted pricing for the 2023 and 2024 seasons. So let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, introducing Suzanne and Steve. We are full-time travel professionals. We're very passionate about sharing the experience of travel with our clients, and we've had our agency open for 10 plus years now. Just to give you a quick timeline of when we opened our franchise, it was in August of 2012. In 2019, I was very honored to receive our network's Opal Award, which is the award for outstanding sales and community service. In 2020, I had a little bit of extra time on my hand, can't imagine why. And so I decided to use that time to earn my Master Cruise Counselor certification from the Cruise Line International Association. And this year, in like 2 weeks, I will have my Elite Cruise Counselor certification, which is the highest level of training and professionalism certifications that you can get from the Cruise Line International Association. And our franchise is ranked in the top 3% of all franchises through the CruiseOne and Dream Vacations network throughout the country. I have been traveling for 45 years. This is some pictures of me on my very first cruise. I look like Donny Osmond here. It's very funny. But I've been on 53 cruises. I've been to all 7 continents and over 60 countries and counting. And I say that because I am able to use all my experience in traveling these different places to help my clients then have a more meaningful vacation when they visit. Now, this is our very first cruise together on Holland America. We took our honeymoon to Alaska in 1993. And you can see Steve was very popular with the staff. We also took the helicopter ride to the Mendenhall Glacier. And that's just something that every time I think about that trip, that's one of the most memorable moments. We love Alaska so much. We've been back there 6 times since that trip in 1993. Like I said, we love traveling the world. And we have been on over, I think, 15 trips in the last year, which is the great thing about today's technology. We bring our computers, we work from wherever we are. So wherever we are in the world, that's where our office is. Just to give you some advantages of working with our agency, I am your personal advocate with the cruise line. You've got an insider that knows how to get things done. You get my expert planning assistance. I will have a consultation with you. We will talk about the things that you want to accomplish with your vacation, what your budget is, what your needs are, and we'll design a vacation that fits exactly what you need out of your vacation. We have a low price guarantee. I can't stress this enough. You will never, ever, ever, ever get a lower price going directly with the cruise line than you will going through a travel agency. And when you have a travel agency that is a preferred national account partner of Holland America, we have access to even better pricing than what you can get direct with Holland America. Just so you know, help is never more than a phone call away. I answer my phone almost 24/7. It's right here. I've answered my phone at 3 in the morning, and you'll either get me or my voicemail. If you get my voicemail, I'll give you a call right back. So you don't have any long hold queues. I do all that for you when I have to call the cruise lines and make changes or amendments to your reservations. So I take care of all that for you. And now I'm going to introduce Amanda. She is my wonderful regional business development specialist with Holland America. and she's going to be sharing with us why Holland America is truly the best way to experience Alaska.
Thanks so much, Suzanne. Thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm really excited to talk to you about such an incredible destination and traveling to that incredible destination with Holland America. We have an unbelievable history just in general, but also an unbelievable history within Alaska as well. So I'm very excited to talk to you about that today. So let's get started. Seeing Alaska is really something you can do over and over because there's so much to see, and we want to make sure that you're going to get to see as much as possible. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is the three ways that you can really get out there and see as much as possible. So we have our cruises, we have our cruise tours that include Denali, and then we have our cruise tours that are going to include the Yukon territory within Canada as well, which is something no other cruise line does. So I'm going to break down some of those options for you, some of the benefits, so that you can really understand how Alaska comes together with Holland America. All right, so why Holland America and Alaska? We have been traveling to Alaska for this will be our 76th year in Alaska, longer than Alaska has even been a state. So just that in itself tells you the history that we have, the relationship that we have with the communities, and we have really tried to do even more within our itineraries, within our reputation, within our service in Alaska to make sure we are respecting Alaska, respecting the communities, and taking our guests out there to see the best destination out there, Alaska. So a couple things that we'll talk about is why Alaska with Glacier Bay, why Alaska with the food, why Alaska with the ports and the destinations, and all of the ways to really immerse yourself within Alaska. That is our main focus. And that's something that we've really been known for, is the value for your dollar when you're on your cruise, because you are able to have that freedom and flexibility to be able to do as much as you would like while you're on board. So let's talk about some of those benefits firsthand. So number one in Glacier Bay, I mentioned that 76-year history that we have. What that also allows us to do is have the most entries into Glacier Bay National Park. 98 of our itineraries go into Glacier Bay National Park. Now, no other cruise line can offer this many itineraries with Glacier Bay. This is one of the most fantastic place you can go, not only because of the scenery, not only because of the glaciers, the wildlife, but even the indigenous history that comes along with this area of the world. It's fantastic. And what we do is we take you in there so you get to spend a good portion of your day in Glacier Bay. We bring on what are they called? I can't think of them right now, but we bring on all of the park service, the park
Rangers.
guides.
It's the park rangers.
Park rangers. Gosh, I don't know why I couldn't remember that. I'm so sorry. The park rangers actually come on board our ship. They're going to be on with us the entire time we're in Glacier Bay, talking about the flora, talking about the fauna, looking out for the wildlife the entire time they're on there. They know if animals have routines. They're able to really point out specific, unique things for us to see. And while we're in Glacier Bay, we actually open up that whole front bow of the ship. So you get to go out there to the front, enjoy some Dutch split pea soup, and get to see as much of this destination as possible. Maybe you don't want to go out there, or you want to go out there a little bit, it gets a little chilly. That's what is great about having a balcony, because we also are going to spin that ship around slowly so that no matter where you are on the ship, you're going to get to take advantage of Glacier Bay in all its glory. Another real great benefit about traveling both with Holland America and on a cruise and with land is really getting to take advantage of the wildlife that is in Alaska. It's really unbelievable to get to see all of the different options that you have available. If you're a nature lover, if you're an animal lover, if you want to take some fantastic pictures, if you just want to get to experience being out there with the silence and the still water and having that whale breach up and getting to see its dorsal fin and really getting to experience the excitement of that moment, this is the perfect destination for you. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the wonderful wildlife you can see while you are cruising on board the ship. So we offer a variety of excursions that allow you to get to see as many animals as possible. A lot of our excursions in our different ports also guarantee seeing wildlife as well. If you don't see wildlife, they're going to give you $100 back. So we guarantee we're going to find those animals for you and you're going to have a great experience. So while you're on board the ship, I know one time I was waiting for dinner and I actually got to see some orcas, so that was really great. So whales, sea lions, sea otters, lots to get out there and see as well. Bald eagles. So we get to visit some of the major ports in Alaska. Because of our history there, we actually have prime docking location as well. So you will not be tendering on any of our ports in Alaska because we, on these main cities, we are right up there on the dock. You walk off the ship and you are in town and ready to go. So some of these great destinations are Juneau, which is very well known for the Mendenhall Glacier, whale watching, which I'm sure Suzanne will talk some more about and have some pictures. We have Sitka, which is a beautiful, beautiful city. I think when I talk about Sitka, everybody talks about the movie The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. So you too can get out there and dance like Betty White and really enjoy yourself there. We have Ketchikan, which has a fantastic lumberjack show where you get to see very handsome men climbing, throwing axes, doing all kinds of things, or getting out there and exploring Creek Street, seeing some bald eagles that lay their nests, the totem pole, so much to see and do. Skagway, of course, that has the White Pass Rail, which is a beautiful experience that truly takes you back into time to learn about the gold rush and all of the people that looked for adventure, and adventure was all they found. Yes, no gold, just adventure. So I want to point out a couple of the most popular cruise itineraries for you real quick so you have a good idea of what's going to be available for you. So this right here is a round trip Seattle itinerary for you. And this is really great because it does go into Sitka. Our Seattle itineraries are the itineraries that are going to take you into Sitka. You're always going to get 2 glacier viewings on our itineraries. So you're going to get into Icy Point and Glacier Bay National Park on this itinerary. It's also neat that you get to go into Puget Sound and Victoria, maybe check out the Butchart Gardens as well. So a wonderful itinerary if you're looking to stay close to home, nice round trip, easy flights into Seattle. The next itinerary I will point out to you is our Inside Passage itinerary that's round trip Vancouver. So this is really great. We're going to start a little farther north. So we're going to be able to get into Skagway, get into Tracy Arm, and see Glacier Bay as well, go through the Inside Passage, hit those major port cities, and get that wonderful experience in Glacier Bay National Park. So this is a wonderful itinerary for you to get a little further north. If you have the extra time, you're okay, Suzanne. If you have the extra time, we have a wonderful, wonderful 14-day Great Alaskan Explorer itinerary that's going to be available both in the spring, so May and September. So spring and fall for Alaska season. Those are a little different. But here's what I really, really love about this itinerary. So this is a fantastic itinerary because it is round trip Vancouver. So you still get that wonderful round trip flight option, but look at those smaller cities that you get to get into. Homer, Kodiak, Sitka, Prince Rupert, which is actually a very difficult place to get into if you're not driving through the interior to it. So these are great destinations that you're going to get to see and that you may not get to see on any other cruises because the sizes of our ships, because of the history that we have, And I will tell you, one of my favorite places in Alaska, it actually is my favorite place, is Valdez. It's on the Prince William Sound. It is a beautiful, kitschy little place where you can see them cutting the fish, throwing it out, seeing all the birds, the little sea otters, having a nice cold Alaskan beer, and just sitting there and enjoying the mountains, the ocean, the whole Alaskan experience. This is a wonderful itinerary to get to see even more of Alaska by sea.
Yeah, Amanda, we've got friends that live in Homer, Alaska, who have not seen cruise ships coming there, so they're anxious to see that start this year.
Oh yeah. We're excited to get in there. Yeah, it's gonna
Now,
be great.
this
You didn't
must
talk
be
about the great 28-day one.
So, Amanda, this must be an old slide because obviously all of these are open for booking right
These
now.
are
We can
all
book-
open. I didn't
Yeah.
remember that for booking, so I apologize about that.
Yeah. So,
So
talk a little bit about the cruise tours here now.
yeah, so they are open and available for 2023 and 2024. So here is what's really great about cruise tours. Here is a picture of Alaska. So you can see up here is College Fjord, Anchorage, over here down in the bottom, Homer, Kodiak. That was included on that itinerary we just saw. But look at how much of that interior is still there for you to get out and explore. And that area right there that circles in red, that is Denali National Park. So there is so much to get to see and do within Alaska if you have the extra time to add on to your cruise. And what we've done is we have added a variety of different itineraries that are set to include both cruise and land to fit in whatever time frame you may have available with your vacation time, or fitting it in for the year, making sure that you can, get out there and see as much as possible. So here's a great example of one of our most popular itineraries. So this itinerary is going to start down in Seattle. So this is really great because you have the option to either start in Seattle or Vancouver if you would like, whatever makes it easier. Sometimes airfare from Seattle is less expensive, so we have the option to have you fly into Seattle. We'll take you up to Vancouver and board the ship. You would sail on the ship. You would go northbound or southbound, depending on which itinerary you selected. You would be able to get off over in Whittier, which is where you would be able to start boarding your train on this particular itinerary. We take you from Whittier into Anchorage, and then you're actually going to board the McKinley Express, which is an open dome train, and we're going to take you all the way into Denali. And then you'll be able to have 2 nights in Denali based on this itinerary, and then moving up into Fairbanks after your 2-night stay. And then you would fly home from Fairbanks. So some really neat options here for you to take advantage of, which is really great if you want to kind of mix and match. I want to point out to you some of the benefits of going with Holland America into Denali National Park. So we have our own private resort, the McKinley Chalet Resort. We actually purchased this land many, many years ago. We were so kind to bring in our sister company onto our property as well, so we could all be a happy family. But we were the original here. So this is a wonderful, wonderful place to get to stay in Denali National Park. So I'll talk a little bit about some of those popular features now for you. So we have our private resort. It actually backs up along the Nenana River. So if you do decide to do some fishing or whitewater rafting, that's the river that you actually back right up onto. The huge part of the history within the community, within the Native American culture there, and also just a beautiful, beautiful part of this part of Denali. We also have our Denali Square, which is our public area that's within, so all of the rooms surround it, and this is right in the middle of our resort. It has restaurants, it has fire pits. You can take funny Alaska pictures where you're, sitting on a salmon. You can roast s'mores. We're going to have live music. We're going to have our History of Denali show out there. So a lot of great opportunity for you. We also are going to include the Tundra Wilderness Tour for you on any Denali itinerary where you spend 2 nights or more. This is that fantastic excursion that takes you into Denali with a park ranger, They're going to point out all the flora and fauna. They're going to stop for photos. You're going to be able to get out and take pictures. If you are one of the lucky 30% that get to see Mount Denali, you will have the opportunity to see that multiple times, get out and take pictures. And this is included in those 2 nights or more. So this gives you a great, great inclusive overview. If you're looking for a little bit more luxury while you're in Denali, it is a little rugged, you're out in the wilderness, you're in Alaska, but you still want some of those great comforts of home, we do offer some Denali suite upgrades available. So I've included a couple pictures here for you to take a look at the Denali suites to get to see that they're still going to be rugged. You have that beautiful Alaska map on the wall, lovely comfort, same comforts of home, and really getting to walk out on that balcony, hear the river, really enjoy this destination in comfort. And we have some bonuses there for you if you do stay. Here's a quick picture of the Tundra Wilderness Tour. I wanted to show you this because this really is a great benefit to traveling with Holland America because we include this. There's only so many buses that can go into Denali National Park. There's only so many people that can go, and you cannot go this far into Denali National Park on your own. So this is really the best and most inclusive way. So McKinley Chalet Resort, you can see, is right on the outside of Denali National Park. We take you right inside, and we're going to take you all the way to about mile 46 right now because there's a landslide happening. But you can see that you get the best of the wildlife viewing if they're going to keep an eye out. What's great is within the bus as well, they have cameras. So if there are bears, if there are moose that are far away, they're going to zoom in so that you are going to be able to take advantage of getting to see all of these wonderful animals. I got to see a bear cub. It was way too far for my little camera to take a picture of, but I got a great picture from the screen in the bus. So the big 5. We have the big 5 in Alaska too for land. So we have the moose, we have the Dall sheep, we have caribou, we have the wolf, and we have the bear. I can tell you personally, I've been a couple times to Alaska and Denali National Park, and I was able to see all of them but the wolf. The wolf is very elusive. But getting to see the moose, they were right along the road. You could see the Dall sheep. It is really, really a fantastic experience to get to see these animals in their natural habitat, just enjoying life. So a wonderful way to get to see more wildlife. I mentioned to you the Yukon experience, and on that map, you could see that we had Denali and the Yukon right next to each other. So why not get to bundle that together and do something new and different if you have the time to do it? So what we do is we actually take you from Fairbanks and we charter a flight and fly you into Dawson City. So Dawson City is like traveling back into time. This was part of the gold rush scene in the Yukon Territory, and it still feels that way. They have dirt roads. The casinos give all the money back to the city. You can even take a shot with a petrified toe. Yes, some traditions last much longer than maybe that you should, but this is a tradition where they would basically bet in the bar to get to do this. So some neat stuff. We have Gertie's, which does traditional can shows. So there's 3 showings at night. The earlier ones are the more friendly versions, family-friendly versions, and the later ones get a little bit more risque. So a lot of fun depending on how traditional you want to go. We then take you down into Whitehorse, which is where you're also going to be able to take advantage of that White Pass rail that shows you where all of the gold rush really began, where they built the train. Originally, all of the people who were out there searching for gold actually had to climb a 30-mile uphill hike, carrying all their materials. So they absolutely needed a train to help them transport all of this. So, as history usually shows us, as soon as the gold rush ended, the train was then available. So that's the way it goes, but you still get to take advantage of the train rather than that 30-mile hike. Now, you can see that we have added the opportunity to really make the trip very inclusive for you. You can do land first or cruise first, which is the example on the right-hand side. This is one of our most popular itineraries because it gives you 2 nights in Dawson City, 2 nights in Denali. You get a stay in Anchorage, and then you're also going to be able to sail from Whittier down to Vancouver, hitting some of those major ports like Juneau and Ketchikan. So this is really great because you're going to have a lot of opportunity to both see Alaska from the sea and really getting to see that lower portion of Alaska, along with both the interior of Alaska and the Yukon Territory, which many people have not seen or been available or had the availability to go. So even if you've been to Alaska, this is going to open up a lot of opportunity for you to see even more and adventure out to a place you may have never been before.
All right. Well, thank you, Amanda. Now, Steve and I get to share a little bit of our personal experience in Alaska, and we've been there 6 times. So we're going to share just some of our thoughts about what we loved about it. And of course, this is right in front of
Oh, made the Yukon.
one
We're
of
gonna
the
do that one
glaciers.
day.
Yeah, we're good. I had a client that did the 18-day Alaska and Yukon tour last year. She said it was absolutely the most wonderful thing she ever did. So I highly recommend that for people who have the time to do the 18-day. One of the things that Steve and I just love, of course, we went to Alaska for a honeymoon, is just the beautiful scenery. I mean, we were just amazed by it. This is the College Fjord. That honeymoon cruise was the only time we went there because that's one of the places that I think you have to be on a certain cruise to visit. Beautiful place, and each of the glaciers that goes into the fjord is named after a different like East Coast college. So there's like the Harvard Glacier, the Yale Glacier, something like that. Anyway, that's why it's called College Fjord. And this is the Mendenhall Glacier. That is located like 10 miles from downtown Juneau. And this is where you can take a helicopter up into the mountains and actually land on the glacier and walk around. And I have some pictures of that on our next slide. So we talked about Alaska as a great couples destination. So it is. That's where we went on our honeymoon. Those are the pictures when we walked around on the glacier on a honeymoon. But about 12 years later, we brought our kids. And this is my son looking at this miners monument. He actually now has a degree in mining engineering from the University of Arizona. So this was a little preamble to that. And we saw the pictures of the lumberjack show. The kids absolutely love that. Of course, they're grown now, but just the memories that we have from taking them to Alaska, it was absolutely fabulous. Some other family experiences that are absolutely wonderful in Alaska. This is going into the Hubbard Glacier, and we're up on the deck. Everybody's excited because you're sailing. You get closer to this glacier. The scenery is beautiful, and that's my kids with their aunt and uncle. There's my son up on Mount Roberts. That's in Juneau, comparing his wingspan to that of a bald eagle. And then the whole family did the White Pass and Yukon train. We had Steve's mother, Steve's aunt, his sister, brother-in-law, the kids. It was just a wonderful family bonding experience because you're on that train. You can get up and move around and talk and laugh. And we
Saw
had
a bear on the train.
We did. We saw a bear. And there was another time I was in Alaska. We were on the road that parallels the train, and I saw a moose on that one. So that was very exciting. One of the things I remember from our helicopter ride, my pictures were not very good. I had a little 35mm film camera with not very good resolution, but we did see the mountain goats as we're flying in the helicopter. And these are different from the Dall sheep. These are the mountain goats that live kind of in the coastal region. Again, that White Pass and Yukon scenery is absolutely gorgeous. And I haven't done this. I want to do it. Several of my clients have done the helicopter dog sledding. They're big dog lovers. You can fly up. This is an excursion. It's one of the most expensive. You can fly up to a glacier. You land on it. There is a mushers camp up there. You get to meet the dogs and drive the dogs around. And of course, these dogs are made to run. They absolutely love it. Some of the animals that we've seen otters, we've seen humpbacks, we've seen orca whales. That's just one of the most amazing things about Alaska. And sometimes you see them from the ship, sometimes you see them from an excursion. So there's different ways to experience those. There's so many opportunities to learn about that Alaskan culture. There's lots of excursions where you can that are actually led by the Native Alaskans, and they're telling you about the history of their totems and their artwork. So that's absolutely fascinating. You really get to experience the history of our 49th state. This is a beautiful statue that is in downtown Ketchikan, and it represents all the different people that came to Alaska. You can see there's a lumberjack, there's a bush pilot, I think this guy's a fisherman, and then we of course have a Native Alaskan. And then the History Museum, the State Museum that is in downtown Juneau, they've redone it. I think it opened again in 2018. It is a world-class museum, and there's so many interesting artifacts. If you're a museum person, it's a great place to go. I've been to Alaska 6 times, and I have to tell you, every time I go, I see something new. So I actually have a little video. This is from our very last trip to Alaska. This is a harbor seal, and that is in the creek by Creek Street in Ketchikan. And you see he's got a salmon in his mouth. There were several of them, and they were just munching on those salmon. And the tide had never been high enough when we'd been there to see that before. So whenever, even if you've been to Alaska once, go back again. You'll see something new every single time you visit. So now that we finished talking about the Alaska experience, I think everybody wants to make sure that they're going to have a good experience on board the ship. So we're going to talk about what you can expect on board your Holland America ship. And I'm going to let Amanda, I'm going to let you take over this slide because I know this one is kind of your expertise.
Sure. So I mentioned earlier about the flexibility, and that's always so important when you want to take a vacation, right? You want to make sure that you're getting to do exactly what you want to do. And that's what we have focused on here, is making sure that whether you want to get out there and explore and adventure, you have those unique itineraries, those wonderful ports, those great excursions. If you want to get out and have some of the best food available and get to taste some great local cuisine, then that's what we want to focus on as well. So we have a variety of restaurants for you to take advantage of some thought-provoking food that comes from our culinary council. We want to make sure that on the sea days and in the evenings, you're having as much fun as possible. And what brings people together so easily is the music. So the live music that we have available, along with some of our other shows, truly is fantastic. These are some of the best artists out there who love what they do and bring that love to you on board our ships. One of the biggest things that we hear about when passengers come back from their vacation with us is how incredible the staff is, how well they connected with them, how wonderful they were, how charming, how funny, how much attention to detail they had about each person that they worked with. This is something that makes traveling with Holland America so special, to be able to have someone take care of you in such a kind and thoughtful way. And then, of course, we've put so much thought into our ships. As you know, we have had a number of ships like our Rotterdam, and all of that thought and attention to detail goes into making a perfectly sized ship that gives you all of the options with the restaurants, the gym, the spa, big enough to have enough to do on board while still allowing us to be small enough to keep more of an intimate experience and really get you into some of those great and unique ports. So all that together is what makes Holland America very special and a great place for you.
Yeah. Well, I want to highlight here just how beautiful the ships are. Very large, open, light-filled spaces. They have the covered pools where you're going to have that atrium where if it's a sunny day, they can open it up. If it's not, you can close it up, and they have movies here. This main dining room that you see in the middle, that's where you're going to have fine dining every night included with the price of your cruise. The Lido Marketplace is that picture you see in the bottom right with all those big floor-to-ceiling windows and all those, you can just see the scenery right out there. So no matter how you want to dine, you can do it on Holland America. And there's so many included dining venues with the main dining room and that Lido Marketplace. And I have some pictures of that coming up in a little bit. Here's the Culinary Council. You'll see a lot of famous faces there. They design all of Holland America's menus, and Rudy Sodeman is has his own special restaurant, which is a seafood restaurant, a French seafood restaurant that is on some of the Holland America ships now. Just some of the delicious things that are included on Holland America. When you have a sail away party, they come around with these little hors d'oeuvres, these little light bites of goodness. They have the dive-in, which is by the pool. It's burgers and hot dogs, and some of the best burgers and hot dogs you've ever had. They have the pizza restaurant. And then, of course, this is surf and turf at the fine dining restaurant. You can see just a little hint of the beautiful blue china that they use in there. Holland America is very big on blue and orange for the sea and their Dutch heritage. So just a fabulous experience in the main dining room with a menu that changes every single night. So even on our 24-night cruise that we took last year, I don't think they repeated a menu once. The Lido Marketplace. Look at this. It's not a buffet. It is just different stations where they have all these wonderful foods. They're preparing them all a minute. We came up here a couple times on our 24-night cruise and just forewent the main dining room just because there were so many selections up here, and whatever our schedule was doing, it just worked out better not to have to sit down and do a full sit-down dinner. Specialty dining. So specialty dining is usually at an extra charge, and I'm going to go over in a little bit about how you can get one specialty dining meal included with the price of your cruise. But this is a fabulous experience. They have the Pinnacle Grill, which is a steakhouse. They have Tamarind on some ships, which is Asian fusion. And then we also love the Canaletto Italian. My husband loves Italian food. And look at that curtain of bacon. How can you go wrong with a curtain of bacon? But the service. Steve and I had such a wonderful time on our last Holland America cruise that the bartenders in a couple of the bars got to know us. They knew exactly what we wanted. Our waiter, we knew our special requests every night. Just everything was attentive, and our room was always immaculate from our cabin steward. And this is the thing. I have to say, this is not your grandma's Holland America. My very first cruise with Holland America was not actually the honeymoon cruise. I actually took a family cruise with Holland America in 1980. And it was very, very traditional experience. And I have to say that Holland America has really upped the ante, especially with their live music. They have this wonderful set of venues called the Music Walk, which are all contiguous. You have the B.B. King Blues Club, Billboard on board, which is greatest hits played on the piano and sung. You've got the Lincoln Center performers. They usually perform earlier in the evening, and then that same venue switches over to the B.B. King Blues Club. And then my favorite is the Rolling Stone Rock Room, because they play the greatest rock and roll hits of all time. In the main theater, they have a wonderful experience called BBC Earth in Concert. It is a live orchestra, and they show the beautiful BBC Earth documentaries behind them as they're playing the music. They also have a dance show called the Step One Dance Company, and they are ballroom and classically trained dancers, and they perform a wonderful variety of dances. Now, this next, I'm going to play this. This is one of the headliners that came in, and they're doing a little bit of a boy band music there. And then this is the Lincoln Center on stage. Of course, that was Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, and then a couple hours later, you can come to the same venue and hear some blues music. So you can see. Okay, now I have to pause this for a second and tell you the story. The one thing I loved about Billboard on Board is that they did an all-request show. And if the entertainers did not know your song, they would learn it. I requested the silly song. It's a beautiful song from a silly movie. It's a Will Ferrell movie, Fire Saga, Eurovision movie. But at the end of the movie, the lead singer, the lead female, she sings this beautiful song about her hometown, Husavik. And this cruise, we were in Iceland, just a few miles from Husavik, and the singer learned it and she sang it for us. And I'll just play a little bit of it and then we'll keep going. She's actually singing that in Icelandic too. So anyway, and then the Rolling Stone Rock Room, playing a little bit of the Cars. So you can see there is entertainment, there's music for every generation on a Holland America cruise. I want to talk a little bit about what's included in your cruise fare. So obviously your accommodations, your fine dining in that main dining room. That's where I had the picture of the surf and turf. Your casual dining in the Lido Marketplace, the dive-in. There is a fully furnished gym with cardio equipment, strength equipment. They have movies on the big screen. All kinds of enrichment activities like lectures on Alaska, cooking demonstrations, dance lessons, trivia. Sports, you can play basketball, pickleball is really big. And then of course that wonderful nightly entertainment on the music walk. You get your standard beverages included like juice, tea, brewed coffee, room services included, and Holland America even has an afternoon tea. But there's a couple things that aren't included, obviously, from you have your gratuities that are extra for your dining staff and your onboard hotel staff, that's your cabin steward. Alcoholic beverages are not always included. And then Wi-Fi is not included. But I'm going to show you on this next slide how you can get a more inclusive package. Oh, shore excursions. I didn't think about that. Your shore excursions, again, an extra charge. And specialty dining is an extra charge. So there's a couple different ways to book your Holland America cruise. One of them is with the Have It All rate. The Have It All includes 15 drinks a day, priced $11 per serving or less. If you were to purchase that outright, it's $54.95 per person per day. And then the Have It All rate includes the surf Wi-Fi. It includes 1 night of specialty dining for 2 guests for every 7 days of the cruise voyage. So that's about a $25 to $35 per dinner value. And then Have It All includes a $100 per person shore excursion credit. So if you find an excursion that is $99, you got it covered. It's included with price to your cruise. If it's $135, you just pay that $35 difference for that excursion. Now, because CruiseOne is a national account with Holland America, we have special promotional rates that you can't get if you book directly with Holland America. These are deeply discounted. They don't include Have It All, but I'll explain how you can add it. And the rates are only available through us as CruiseOne as a preferred national account. However, we can add Have It All at a rate of $50 per person per day. So you see, you can add all these benefits for less than the price of just adding the beverage package. So it really is a good deal and you can save money. And I'm going to go through, I have some slides that show the price difference with booking through me versus if you were to book it just directly with Holland America. In 2024, there are some sailings that have what's called Have It All Plus, and it's an upgraded beverage package, the premium Wi-Fi, and the prepaid gratuities for the crew. It doesn't apply to my group rates, so we always have to do a comparison. And I'm always able to say, this is what it is with this is what is that. We figure out, we do the math, and we figure out what's the best deal for you. Let's see. And there's also an anniversary sale going on right now. That includes an extra $100, or excuse me, an extra onboard credit from $50 to $300. And it depends on the type of cabin you're in. That doesn't combine with those discounted rates. So again, it's a math. We add everything up, the value on one side, on the other, and we pick the pricing that works best for you. So truly, in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, the best way to book is going to be with our low CruiseOne discount. And that's going to be, we have that discounted pricing for most of the 2023 cruises and cruise tours. And for 2024, we have group rates and we have some of these promotional rates also available. So that, you know, that is going to be usually the best way to go, is to book with our CruiseOne exclusive rates. Here's another added bonus. We are currently having our spring ka-ching promo at CruiseOne, and I put the little chart here. You get an extra onboard credit for any 2023 booking that you book with us by April 18th. And I got to say, there's like a, but there's more, and there's more. It's coming along towards the end of the presentation. I wanted to go through here and show you some of these deals that we have. So I just picked a random itinerary, the Eurodom Glacier Bay for $617. The current Have It All rate is $47.98. But when you add the Have It All to our discounted pricing, you're at $43.32 per cabin. That's based on double occupancy. I picked a VC cabin, just it's a better cabin, a better location than the least expensive balcony. Obviously, if you go with an interior cabin with no windows or just a picture window cabin, your price is going to be less. If you were to go with a suite, your price is going to be more, but we almost always have this savings no matter what. And then another example is this Westerdam. Again, you can see that we have a really nice savings between the standard price and our group prices. You can go in the spring of this year in just a couple weeks. If you can pack and go, look at this. This is the price for this cruise in a balcony on this 5/6 departure. So it's really, really a good deal. Also, one of the advantages of going in the off season is that you have lower prices and it is less crowded. The new Amsterdam has a 5/7 departure. It is that 14-night cruise. This is your price booking it directly with Holland America for the VB cabin. And then this is your price through CruiseOne. In September, that 14-night sailing, all the balconies are sold out direct with Holland America, but we still have a group allocation. So this will give you an idea of what that is with Have It All and the group allocation for the 14-night September sailing. And Odin, you need to stop barking. I hope y'all can't hear him. He's just crying. I don't know why. So more options. I just wanted to show you that we have tons of these options where we have the price savings on this, that it's not just a handful, it's nearly every sailing. So if you're flexible with your ship and sail date, I can find you a deal. There are 14-night cruise tours. There is one that is 7 nights land, 7 night at sea. Again, we've got tremendous savings on that. And then we've also got that 18-night Yukon and Triple Denali that we mentioned. That is a full 7 nights at sea with 11 nights on the land tour. My client did this last year. She said it was the most amazing experience of her life. She absolutely loved it. I think her husband loved it too, but she's the big animal lover. So I think that's why she loved it so much. And then moving on, back to that Yukon experience, here's an example of a 12-night Yukon and double Denali. It's 8 nights on land and only 4 nights on the cruise. So this is really good for maybe somebody that's first-time cruiser, doesn't think that cruising is exactly right for them, but want to take advantage of seeing the parts of Alaska that you can only see from the sea. So that is a wonderful one. It's really more tour than it is cruise, but the cruise does include Glacier Bay, and that's the nice part about it. And then again, I also have that 18-night Yukon with the full 7-night cruise. Now, here is our other offer. This also combines with that spring ka-ching. So this is for new bookings that are booked by April 30th. Now, remember, for the spring ka-ching offer, you have to be booked by April 18th. But if you book by April 30th, you're going to get a bonus onboard credit depending on the type of cabin you have and the length of your cruise. So we're giving that to any new booking that is from our virtual cruise night attendees or the people who have watched us virtually or recorded. So we're almost done. We are wrapping it up. We really hope you enjoyed the presentation. I just want to summarize, Holland America offers the most amazing land and sea experience in Alaska. They really are top notch. They have the most experience. They've been doing it the longest. They know what to give people to make them happy in their experience. They have more Glacier Bay itineraries. I saw some cruise lines that don't even have a single itinerary that goes to Glacier Bay. So that's another big advantage of booking with Holland America. Again, we have those nice discounts with our exclusive CruiseOne pricing that we're able to give you for both 23 and 24. And we have select departures in 24 that have the Have It All Plus promotion, which gives you even more than the standard Have It All. We've got the virtual cruise nice bonus onboard credit. We have that spring ka-ching onboard credit. And best of all, if you work with me, you get the most personalized and detailed and customized experience just for you. The way I like to work with my clients is for you to give me a call. I like to work on the phone. I think that is the best way to communicate with people. It keeps us from having miscommunications. It allows us to collaborate. I love to collaborate with my clients and make sure that we're getting the best possible experience for them. I'd love for you to call me, do a complete quote for you, have a complete consultation, talk to you about what exactly you want to, what did you see in this presentation today? That is what you want to do in Alaska, and we'll make it happen for you. We again have that low price guarantee and my personalized service. My number's right there on the phone. I invite you to call me, 805-210-5327. I'd love to talk to you and help you plan your next vacation. So we have a couple of minutes.
We went through some of the slides a little bit quickly there. So we are recording the session either later tonight or first thing in the morning. We'll send out an email that have a link to the recording. If you want to watch a certain part of it again and look at it more slowly and pause or whatever, you'll be able to do that too.
Yeah. And now I'm here to answer any questions. If there's even something that you just, hey, Suzanne, I didn't get this part, you send me an email. You'll all have my email from your confirmation. It's sclawson@cruiseone.com. Go ahead and write me back. I am happy to, answer any questions. But for that personalized cruise planning process, I'd love to do the phone call consultation with you. We have got
now, feel free to ask
about 5 minutes, and then we have to. Yes, Amanda has a question.
Yeah, I have something I just wanted to add in there for you. This is our 150th year anniversary. So all of our sailings this year are really going to offer some neat special inclusions, like some of our special, we're going to have a special menu that's going to be on board all of our ships. It's going to offer different things that we have offered many years throughout our history. We're going to have a special personalized gin that's going to be available with some specialty cocktails to take advantage of on board. We had a special beer made for this year as well to celebrate our anniversary. We're going to have cabin drops. We're going to have different memorabilia in the shops. It's really going to be a very neat celebration throughout the year. Just a tidbit, 20 out of every 100 immigrants that came over to America actually came on Holland America. So it is a really, really neat history that we have. So getting to go this year, if you do have some time to get out and travel this year on one of our itineraries, there's going to be something special. It's going to be a really unique experience. So think about that as well. If you can get out there this summer or the fall or even in the winter and escape the winter, depending on where you're at, and get out to the Caribbean, it's going to be a neat time to travel with us this year.
Okay, we have a couple more minutes before the session is over. Does anybody have any questions? Anything you
mute yourself if you do.
Or you can put it in the chat. Okay, well, let's go ahead and stop the recording. Sometimes people are shy when the recording is going. And then